Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are going to be talking about the spell Slow on the Doctor Spell Prognosis. We're giving this spell an A-, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right. I like this spell a lot. I'm giving it an A- just because it doesn't do any damage per se. And I feel like the slow from previous versions of the game was better than this one. So it has a little bit. It feels like it's missing something to me compared to the third or 3.5 kind of Pathfinder 1.0 second edition and first edition spell. Okay, so let's go over it. So it's a third level spell usable by sorcerers, wizards, order domain clerics, Blood Domain Clerics, and Circle of the Land Arctic Druids. So, again, the Druids get some really funky ones, but the spell we went over yesterday, which was Sleet Storm, is also Arctic. So, that's actually good. You can build a very good Circle of the Land Arctic Druid using these. So, it takes one action. It has a range of 120 feet. It is a 40-foot cube within range, verbal, somatic, and material. The materials drop a molasses, which is worthless. Lasts for a minute. Requires concentration, and it is a wisdom saving throw. Great. It's one of the mental saving throws. That's what we want, and it's not the best of them, but it's not the worst of them. Well, it's the worst of the mental ones, but all in all, most creatures or most opponents have a pretty terrible wisdom saving throw. So you alter time around up to 6 creatures of your choice in a 40-foot cube within range. Now, each target, because it says creatures of your choice and target, that means you have to be able to see them. In my opinion, you have to be able to see them. You can't just drop this and it's going to affect whatever. So each target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be affected by the spell for the duration. Kind of, not really, because they get a saving throw at the end of their turn, which is the last sentence here. So it's not the entire duration. It's up to the entire duration. So I wish they would have put that in there. And affected target speed is halved. So if they're 30, they go to 15. It takes a -2 penalty to AC and dexterity saving throws. Can you say fireball and lightning bolt? Those are really important. And it can't use reactions. No reactions at all, which means no opportunity attacks. A lot of things that trigger off reactions are gone. So on its turn, it can either use an action or a bonus action, not both. So it can still move. And that's where I don't like this spell. I wish that they said that you got either an action, a bonus action, or a move, not just the action or the bonus action. But there are a lot of things that trigger off bonus actions that get taken away with this spell. Regardless of the creature's abilities or magic items, it can't make more than one melee or ranged attack during its turn. So, and I know that I'm saying melee like melee and it's melee, but I'm going to say it like melee because I like that. So it doesn't say weapon, it just says melee or ranged attack. So that could be a melee spell attack or a ranged spell attack or a melee weapon attack or a ranged weapon attack. So any of those. But it can only make one. So if you got these crazy fighters who can do, these things, and so I do want to look at that real quick, because the crazy fighter has a thing that they can do, which is called an action surge. And where is it? Starting at second level, you can push yourself beyond your normal limits. On your turn, you can take one additional action. This is not a bonus action. So you can take an action or a bonus action, not both. But a fighter can still take an action and then action surge and take another action even though it's slowed. And I wish they would have taken that away. So regardless, you're only getting one attack anyway, which is great because fighters at 5th level and most of the other kind of martial classes get this extra attack at some point. And that gets taken away. And most of them are going to fail their save, too. That's another thing. If a creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, roll a d20. On 11 or higher, the spell doesn't take effect until the creature's next turn, and the creature must use its action on that turn to complete the spell. So it uses its action to start the spell, and it has to use its action on the next turn to complete the spell, which means it could get hit a bunch of times, and then the spell is wasted. So I would say if that creature gets hit between these times here, they're going to be making concentration checks to be able to cast that spell. If it can't, the spell is wasted. A creature affected by the spell makes another wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On a successful save, the effect ends for it. And then it can't be affected again. So, now, this is usable by wizards, and it's a transmutation spell. That is a misnomer because I really wish that they had changed some of this stuff, because if we look at School of Transmutation, there is not a lot of stuff that the transmutation wizard gets that adds on or is in addition to the spells, the transmutation spells that they cast. I really don't like that. So they get this minor alchemy, temporarily alter physical properties of one non-magical item, blah, blah, blah. You get the transmuter stone, blah, blah, blah. Shape changer, blah, blah, blah. Master transmuter, blah, blah, blah. All of these affect the caster. So I would say School of Divination, Portent, probably goes better with this, because you can cause something to fail a saving throw. Now, we talked about this yet with the Sleet Storm spell, and I want to bring this back up. So if somebody has slow, there are other spells that can get cast on top of this one that can make things much worse for your opponents. However, because this spell is a concentration spell, you need to have somebody else cast them. However, except for one, this one right here, which is not usable by wizards, but it is usable by druids. And, plant growth. It is usable by druids, right there, druids. And this is not concentration. So you can stick something in here. So with slow, they are at half speed. And then they have to use 4 feet of movement for every 1 foot of movement it wants to move. So there is that. That makes it nasty. And plant growth is essentially permanent. So you could slap this down as a Circle of the Land Arctic Druid and then slap this down, and they're not going anywhere. In addition, somebody could cast Sleet Storm. So if you had a Circle of the Land Arctic Druid cast slow, and then you had a wizard cast Sleet Storm, or vice versa, or something like that, coordinate with your party. Say, hey, I've got a slow spell. What can I do with this? Hey, I've got a Sleet Storm. And you ready in action to cast Sleet Storm after the slow is cast, immediately after, because you need to be able to see to do this, but this one makes it worse. So again, they're all making dex saves. Add a -2 if they failed their save and they fall prone. Awesome. It's great. I also went through here and looked up some other spells. I sorted this by range/area. And you could go through here and look at all of these spells in here. Grease, Flaming Sphere, Dust Devil. We could keep going, and these are all racked and stacked by range and area of effect. Zone of Truth. Nathair's Mischief is always a great one to slap on top of some of these other ones that makes, it adds extra conditions that makes things just miserable. Blade Barrier, and we could keep going on and on and on. These are all stacked by range and area of effect. Watery Sphere, Confusion. Confusion plus slow would just be nasty. Just nasty. We haven't gotten to that yet. Black Tentacles, Entangle, Stinking Cloud, Reverse Gravity. Okay. Just all nastiness. So, stacking stuff with slow is really great. I think this is a great spell. It is very effective, but you need to have a plan before you go into combat. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.